Sparkadog here. Today I am going to show you how to take apart XR600 forks. This is going to apply to 93 to 00 models. 1993 to 2000 are all about the same, or maybe all totally the same. So the first thing I've done is slowly remove the drain plug, and that's 10mm head. And when I say slowly, I do mean slowly. If you had a sudden drop in atmospheric pressure, your forks are going to be pressurized. I use impacts to do a lot of stuff. Got a wonderful little Makita 18-volt lithium ion to zip stuff right out. The first time I used that to take a fork plug out, the thing was pressurized pretty good. It not only shot the bolt clear across the shop, it shot a half pint of really stinky oil across the shop. And boy, did it make a mess. Man, that stuff flew everywhere. So nowadays I crack them out a few turns, wiggle them. If you hear air escaping, be extremely careful. Save you about an hour of cleanup, let me tell you. Next, over the oil drain pan, I like to give them a few pumps. I usually keep going until I get most of the, at least the bulk of it out of there. That's the majority of it. You're going to want to have lots of paper towels or rags. This can really be a mess. I use oil dry, wipe stuff up as I go. Oil drops and fork oil and that kind of stuff really cleans up pretty easy if you get it right away. So I'm going to use some air power today, and before I do that, there's a dust seal right here. I like to use a painter's 5-in-1 tool. If you don't have one of those, use a small screwdriver or something. Pry it carefully. Next, there's going to be a metal Circlip inside here, and what I've done is I've made sure that I've got the drain plug facing up so as not to drip all over, because believe me, it will if you don't. The springy ones are so much easier than the ones that you have to use the split ring pliers on. These come right out. I'm going to use some air power. 19mm on the bottom. And I'm not going to remove that nut, I'm just going to loosen it. Oh, so easy with air power. On the top again. Just want to loosen it. If you've got the time, if you're doing this in the winter, it would hurt nothing to let these sit overnight and drip out. I mean, the longer the better. There is a rubber plug on the bottom. I've already pried those off both. Just takes just a small screwdriver. Gets them right out of there. Now I should be about ready to take the top cap all the way off. There's not going to be any pressure on it. There's very little, not enough to worry about. It's not going to come shooting out of there. Put more fork oil will. Now it should be pretty easy. You just hold that up. Get a 14mm wrench on there. There's a nut on the shaft. And this shouldn't be all that tight. It shouldn't really be a big deal. There's a washer or a shim. There's your top cap. Hear it gurgling. I've got some cardboard out of here you can't see. I'll show you that in a minute. I kind of like to keep these pointing downhill a little bit so the fork oil's not running out that end while I'm working on this end. At least if a little bit drips out of this end, I'll see it. You got a valve in the bottom. We've already loosened, so that came right out by finger. And more fork oil. Is a mess. No matter how careful you are, you probably want to plan on spilling some. So now we've got the bottom nut all the way off. We've got the dust cap, the clip taken out of here. Now it should just be a matter of a little slide hammer action here. There's the fork seal. And a shim. And we'll just lift out of there at that point. And this should be fairly empty. There's your cartridge and your rod. There's your inner fork pipe. actually did really good with that one. I don't think I spilled any fluid. That's about a 1 in 100 there. Boy, it's hot in here with the fan off. It's a humid day. Got sweat dripping down my nose. So there's our parts. This is just a collar that's, I think it's still on the other rod. Or maybe it's still in the fork tube. In fact, there it is right there. Well, it didn't push right down. Might need a little tap. Really contained the mess well on that one. And what I did was I got another bike parked right in here, pretty crowded in here. Got my forks hanging there, or my springs hanging there to drip a little oil off, which none has dripped yet. And what I like to do is move these around. That's the one I just set there. And you can see the puddle of oil already. This one's been sitting there for, I don't know, 15 minutes. I've already moved it once. I just put a little paper towel up there on the motorcycle tire to keep the oil off of it. And you can see how much that is oozing out of here. It's going to be puddles that'll still come out. Now, how clean is clean enough? I like to get them really clean. I've got a solvent tank, so I will solvent tank these parts and get them really clean. You could drip them off for a few days. You could use some gasoline on them. Obviously, be very careful if you do that. There's different ways you can clean them, but I wouldn't want to take them down this far and leave even a few drops of old oil in there. That old oil is really broken down. The point is getting all the old oil out, not some of it. So I'd let them drip off. If you got time, let them drip off for, heck, over a whole week. If you're going to, you know, do this on a Sunday and put them back together next Saturday, just let them sit for the whole week if you're going to take your time. For the first hour or so, just make sure you mop up the puddles of oil, because there will be some. It'll reduce after it sits here for a couple hours or so. There won't be any more massive puddles. There'll still be some dripping going on, but the pools and puddles will pretty quickly go away. And there you have it. Reverse order. Both forks are the same. Reverse order if you're rebuilding your forks, putting fork seals on. Make sure you lube your new fork seals with fork oil. And it's not that hard of a job. These cartridge forks are really pretty darn easy. I think these are a lot easier than the ones that have the Allen-headed bolt recessed up inside the fork tube, you know, the bottom of the fork case. And especially if your dust caps, your rubber caps on the bottom end of the fork cases are still intact, they should be relatively clean and rust-free, and you know, the threads should be pretty good, and everything should come apart pretty easy. And if not, then you probably want to spray some WD-40 or penetrating oil. I use a Croil sometimes, is a pretty good one, or PB Blaster, or Liquid Wrench is another pretty good one. Just soak your threads. You know, if your rubber bottom caps, your plugs have been ripped and it's all full of crud in there, just give it a little soak of some penetrant, and they should come apart just that easy. Thumbs up if you like. Thanks for watching.